Hello, my nomies, Chris Pirillo here with the 7 things I don't like about my iMac with Retina 5K display. And in case you haven't been paying attention in forever, last week I posted the 7 things I do like. I'm so biased! Many of you know my classic desktop system was a Mac Pro from 2008, and it lasted darn near 6 years. You might imagine that going from an older computer to a newer computer, especially with a 6-year difference in between, that would yield some amount of speed difference. But unfortunately, much of the speed increase has not really been perceivable. Spec-wise, it's faster than my classic Mac Pro, but in terms of what I feel, I don't feel like it's moving any faster than my old computer. Yet another reason why I tend to ignore spec sheets. Overall, I'm very happy with the new computer. It's just that I was expecting to see more of a difference, and I didn't. I'm gonna go ahead and chalk that up to 2 things. 1, I spec'd that classic Mac Pro to the gills, and 2, Apple still has a ways to go in terms of optimizing its operating system. Keep in mind that I'm running OS 10.10 Yosemite, and soon I'll be running OS 10.10.11 El Capitan. I'm very hopeful that with Metal inclusion in the next version of OS 10, I'll see the benefits on this system. Go Metal! And why didn't you think of that like 3 years ago, Apple? The next thing I don't like about my iMac is something that's not there, if you hadn't noticed. And many of you have. It's an iMac, but where'd the logo go? I didn't strip it away, I just hid it, because I'm really not a fan of seeing logos up front! There's an Apple logo on the back. I know I'm using an iMac. I don't need to be reminded. Some would argue that that's the whole reason to own a Mac, is to brag about it, and I'd argue that no, it's not. I'm not really a fan of the Apple logo there. Never really was. The next thing that I don't like about my iMac, and I think this is the 3rd thing in my list of things, is that the webcam needs an upgrade. I'm definitely not talking about the superior USB webcam that I have connected to the iMac. I'm talking about the built-in FaceTime HD camera. It's only capable of 720p video. Huh? We've got a 5K display. Why can't we record 4K video from the built-in camera? Couldn't Apple have moved the ball along to the 1080p line? Maybe I'm the only one who always wants to record videos in webcams. For talking with other people from around the world, the FaceTime HD camera is sufficient. For recording local video, maybe if this was 7 years ago? The next thing that I don't like about this iMac is probably not Apple's fault directly. Sometimes the system fan kicks in when I'm running Google Chrome, with or without Flash, but especially with Flash running somewhere. And again, I know it's not fair to blame Apple for Google's problems, and believe you me, they know that Google Chrome has a long ways to go in terms of optimization. A long way to go. And I think we all know how I feel about Flash. I want it to die! Maybe die sounds a little strong. How about just go away? I try to avoid running Flash, but unfortunately some webmasters have yet to get the memo. Flash was great back in the day, but we're not back in the day. We're here today, and we have HTML5. And now my impression of Flash when it sees a CPU. The next thing that I don't like about my iMac is that it only has USB 3.0 ports. No USB Type-C. And those are the new ports. Those are the ones that I want. They're new. And so's this system. I wish I could have had those ports. Could I have waited for Apple to integrate USB Type-C ports into the iMac? No, not really. I was on that Mac Pro for 6 years, and there's no telling when Apple's going to do it. While I can't say for sure that they will, I'm pretty sure they will. Eventually. We just don't know when. It just seemed odd for them to ship a USB Type-C connector in a MacBook and not in a new iMac. The next thing that I don't like about my iMac, and this probably speaks around the point that I just made in relation to USB ports, I'm going to be using this likely for the next 4 years. That's the plan. So what it is today is what it's going to be 4 years from now. While I do appreciate Apple's approach to how they design the iMac, I do wish it had the capability of being upgraded with a greater degree of ease. For example, you know where all those ports are on the back? Imagine if you could take out the plate and replace the ports to newer ports, and then port over your iMac to next gen. Does that make sense? I'm just admitting that one of the shortcomings of the iMac is a lack of future-proofing. The last thing that I don't like about my iMac, and again, this is probably just me, the built-in microphone is not that great, and I use the built-in microphone frequently enough to let you know that it's not that great. It's ample, but I don't understand how you can have a 5K Retina display, and that's great, and that's best in class, but everything else is phoning it in. Wait, is it Retina 5K or 5K Retina? With display? Retina 5K with display. Display with 5K Retina. Could that name be any more Microsoft? Not that I'm complaining. In fact, I'm running Microsoft Windows in a Parallels virtual machine on the desktop. It's got plenty of power for it. And I should also add that Parallels, at one point in the past, was a sponsor of mine. As with anything, there are many things to like and dislike, but I'd say that for the most part, I like my iMac. If you want one of your own, there's a possibility right now at deals.lockergnome.com. We're giving one away. Not this one. This one's mine. Get your own. And even if you're watching this video after the giveaway is done, we're giving away plenty of other things at deals.lockergnome.com. Plus, we've got deals for hardware, software, education, stuff for geeks and nerds, and for people who wish they were geeks and nerds, and really for anybody who deals with technology on a daily basis, which is pretty much everybody. Now, before you completely disappear from my life, be sure to watch the first video I did covering the 7 things I like about this iMac. And if you're so inclined, you could share this video, you could leave a comment, you could subscribe to this channel or our other channels, you could become one of the patrons, aka the Super Nomies. They get tons of bonuses, including 60 exclusive videos every month. But thank you for supporting me in whatever ways that you see fit. At this point, I'm going to leave you to your own devices.